13.1b. Review inequalities. Solving. Inequalities solve just like equations, except if we multiply or divide by a negative number, then we must flip the symbol. We only flip the symbol if we are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Let's see this in example 1. Here's example 1. Remember, when solving inequalities, it is usually best to move all x's so that they are on the left side of the equation. So, let's write a note. Left side is for the variable. This helps us when we go to graph these. So this means we are going to subtract 4x from both sides. This gives us negative 2x minus 7 is greater than 1. We now add 7 to both sides, giving us negative 2x is greater than 8. Now, to get the x alone, we divide each side by a negative 2. Since we have divided by a negative, we must flip the symbol. Instead of a greater than, it is now a less than. So we now have x is less than negative 4. Now, to graph this, we first draw a number line, and then we mark a 0 and the number that we are graphing. And this says it is less than negative 4. Since it is not or equal to, we use an open dot, and then we go all the way towards the negative infinity because it is less than the negative 4. You can see which way to go if you look at your less than symbol. As you can see, it looks as if it is pointing in the negative direction. Since this is going to negative infinity, our answer becomes negative infinity, comma, negative 4, parenthesis. Remember, we are using parentheses always for the infinity symbol, and then a parenthesis if it is an open dot. Both the graphing on the line and the interval notation are both parts of the answer. Let's look at this in example 2. Here's example 2. Let's start by moving the 5 to the other side of the equation. By subtracting it, we now have negative 4x is greater than or equal to 8. We divide both sides by a negative 4. Since we divided by a negative, remember we must flip the symbol, which gives us x is less than or equal to negative 2. We now draw a number line, and on it we put the 0 and a negative 2. Since it's less than or equal to, it is a filled in dot. Then it says it is less than, so it's going in the negative direction, which means we fill in the negative direction, going towards negative infinity. This means our answer is negative infinity with a parenthesis, comma, negative 2, but this time we have a bracket after the negative 2 because it is a filled in dot. And remember, it is a filled in dot because it's less than or equal to. Remember, when solving inequalities, we solve them just like equations, except if we multiply or divide by a negative, we must flip the symbol. Also, remember, if it's less than or greater than, you use an open dot. But if it is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, we use a bracket. Also, you always use a parenthesis when using the infinity symbol.